Hello there, this is going to be a very controversial video, and the reason for that is because it's not going to be representing a majority position like most of my videos on UFOs do, but it's going to be representing a minority position. This video is on Drake's equation, and in this video I intend to demonstrate 2 points. One, why I don't think Drake's equation is a valid argument for the existence of any form of extraterrestrial, and 2, why even if it was, it should not be used as an argument by the UFO community the way that it is used as an argument by them. Alright, we're going to start with the former, and this is the part of the video that's going to be controversial because most people, and most scientists in particular, do, largely because of this equation, believe that extraterrestrials exist. And I am actually arguing against that point, though I do think my position is at least somewhat valid. Alright, now let's dissect this equation a little bit. We're going to divide it up into bits, and I'm using my orange marker so that we can get the different sections of the equation isolated from each other more clearly. Now, for the purposes of this video, I am going to start out with the assumption that n really does equal that. Now, I don't necessarily believe that n really does equal all of that. In fact, I'm not sure. But I'm going to make the assumption that it does, because I think the argument still doesn't work if we do make that assumption. Alright. We're going to start off with a couple of the key figures in this equation, which are everything inside the boxes that I have now formed with purple and orange. Alright, let's start with this figure right here. This is the number of stars that will have planets. Alright, now let's address that question. What is the number of stars that will have planets? Well, we don't know. Then there's the number of the planets that will be able to support life. Do we know that figure? No, we have no idea what that is. The number of those that actually will have life, we also don't know what that is. The number of those that will be intelligent, we don't know what that is either. The number of those that are intelligent that will have the technology to communicate with us, we also don't know what that figure is. Now, because we don't know these figures, it is rather obviously not a good idea to draw a conclusion that makes an assumption on these. In fact, a very common form is that each of these reducing factors is 1% of the previous. In that case, the result is 30. But there's really no evidence that would make us go towards 1%. The reason they use that is because it looks like a very small amount to lay people that they're trying to convince. But in reality, it could be far, far less than 1%. We don't know. It's too soon to make any conclusions with Drake's equation. Now, it is possible that science will one day, in fact it is extremely probable, that science will one day find the values for some of these variables. It is particularly likely that within a reasonably short amount of time, science will have found the values for these two variables. And it's almost as certain that it will find these, but it will probably take considerably longer. However, unless and until science does find the values for these variables, the equation is basically useless because it provides no real information. Now it gets worse, though, because in order to change this from an argument for the existence of extraterrestrials that can communicate with us, it's intended to validate the SETI program. In order to change it to merely argue for UFOs, they have to change this figure. They have to actually change the equation to make it suit their argument. That's a very dishonest move, in my opinion, because they've changed it to the number that can communicate with us, which we know is possible, to the number that have interstellar travel, which we do not know is possible. So they've changed the equation, and in doing so, they have eliminated the very small and pathetic modicum of validity that it had in the first place. Not only that, though, it gets worse for the people arguing for UFOs with this equation, because not only do they have to change this value, they have to add in 2 more, which are as follows: the number of those interstellar species that will be lizard people or one of the other aliens that they have ridiculously detailed descriptions of, more detailed than we have on some of the documented creatures that live on Earth, and the number of those that are willing to waste their time visiting Earth. When you add that in, the idea that you could throw the resulting pathetic number at me is as crazy as I probably sound when I'm speaking like this.